Hello, thanks for joining us. This is Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguela. Let's remind you can follow this news broadcast live on our website. It's nta.ng/live and all other of our social media platforms displayed on the screen right now. In the aftermath of the presidential inauguration of the 23.5 billion naira World Bank-assisted Bauchi Township Water Supply Scheme, a high-powered delegation from Bauchi State, led by Governor Bala Mohammed, paid a thank-you visit to President Muhammadu Buhari. The governor told the president that despite party differences, he is loved and highly cherished by the people of Bauchi for his selfless disposition in service to the nation and impactful leadership. Let's hear the details from State House correspondent Adam Sambo.
Almost everyone that matter in Bauchi, the Pearl of Tourism, is part of the delegation, comprising, amongst others, all the first-class traditional rulers and political leaders, irrespective of party affiliation. Governor Bala Mohammed said Bauchi State has benefited so much under the present administration, highlighting significant projects in the education sector, youth empowerment, agro-processing, infrastructure, and housing scheme. He commended the president for, amongst others, the establishment of the Federal College of Education, Jama'ari, Air Force Institute of Technology Complex, Tafawa Balewa, Federal Government Science and Technical College, Misau, and Federal University of Health, Nutrition, and Medical Sciences, Azare.
The areas of infrastructure and services, it was the Ministry of Finance, through their own guidance, that gave us about 12 billion naira to build 2,500 housing in Bauchi, and we built them across the Emirates. I know the emirs would have told you directly if they have the opportunity of thanking you, because for the first time we have affordable housing in all the Emirates. Other areas where we must express gratitude is your insistence and priority on oil and gas exploration in the Benue Trough, where Bauchi has been and Gombe has been put on the map.
Governor Bala Mohammed, who also thanked the president for appointing indigents of the state into key government positions, made a case for the completion of critical roads infrastructure projects awarded by the administration for enhanced socio-economic development. President Muhammadu Buhari appreciated the high-powered delegation for the visit and promised to look into the request by the state government to complete ongoing federal government projects in need of urgent attention.
And I appreciate that you have reported me to your emirs for the jobs that I must see completed before I leave here. Thank you very much for the reminder.
The president thanked Bauchi State for providing illustrious sons and daughters who are making invaluable contributions to his government and national development, singling out the Minister of Education, Adamu, for special mention. Addressing newsmen shortly after, Governor Bala Mohammed described the non-signing of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill by President Muhammadu Buhari as a blessing in disguise.
We have to manage it. I think the less the merrier. As somebody who is in the election, when I have less delegates to go and woo, it is better for me than all these 4,000, 5,000 that I will be going to. Because actually, that's my feeling.
The Bauchi State Governor is a presidential aspirant on the platform of the PDP. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The presidency has cautioned against any knee-jerk reactions, the creation of panic, disruption of lives and livelihoods, or even retaliatory violence following the viral videos of the alleged killings of non-indigents by the Eastern Security Network and the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says, Expert agencies are now verifying the factuality and veracity of the claims that accompany the horrid pictures being circulated and call on all citizens to avoid hasty steps or conclusions that could exacerbate the situation. The presidency also cautions the public against the indiscriminate sharing of posts on social media so as to deny vested interests who seek to divide the nation and create disturbance the chance to do so. President Buhari warns the perpetrators of these acts to expect tough response from the security forces. In a related development, Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo has condemned the reported killing in Anambra State of a woman and her children by some yet to be identified gunmen. In a statement, the governor described the killing as unacceptable, promising that the perpetrators will be fished out and dealt with according to law. He says no group or Nigerian is justified to harass, attack, or kill any citizen of Nigeria or anyone resident in Nigeria under the guise whatsoever, unless in lawful execution of a court sentence, while insisting that perpetrators of these heinous atrocities and their sponsors are testing the resolve of the government and people of Anambra State. Professor Soludo assures that efforts are underway to fish out and bring to justice whoever is behind the criminal activities. Governor Soludo reassures all Nigerians living or doing business in Anambra State of the resolve of the state government to ensure adequate protection of their lives and property at all times. How to mobilize and manage the nation's enormous resources for productive investment is the focus of the 3rd National Productivity Summit. Since the world now thrives after knowledge economy, which relies on scientific researches, discoveries, information, communications technology, and industrialization at the forefront of overall economic growth, the need to strengthen the nation's institutions, particularly the educational sector, is part of the solutions suggested as way forward at the summit.
Context refers to activities and efforts geared towards securing new and additional resources for the economy.
Nigeria is being confronted with unprecedented economic challenges, food crisis, energy crisis, and mobilization and effective use of our national resources of strategic importance to bringing about increased productivity, rapid economic development.
So if you can get your human resources right, all the other things will be in place. So there must be a conscious effort to build the skills and competencies of the workforce, of the populace.
The summit is part of efforts by the National Productivity Center to ensure Nigeria is not left behind as globalization now extends beyond markets for goods and finance into markets for technology, knowledge, workers, and financial innovation. The National Population Commission is seeking support from the Nigerian Army ahead of the pre-test census coming up in June this year. Chairman of the Commission, Nasser Kwara, informed the Army Chief that its officials have not been able to conclude the enumeration of some areas in Birnin-Gwari and Abadam in Borno State due to insecurity.
The second local government is Abuja in Borno State. That local government, we couldn't even have access into the local government completely.
This is a national call, so anytime you come calling, we are not worried and will provide necessary security and support for your job.
The security challenges have far-reaching consequences, but the Army Chief says a lot of progress have been made and ultimately it will be a history. We're heading to Lagos now to join Ken Day. She'll pick up with some other reports from that zone.
Thank you, Ruth, and glad to have you join us in Lagos. In a bid to foster gender balance in political representation and participation, thereby enhancing the core democratic principles of equity, equality, and fairness in the forthcoming general election, the Independent Electoral Commission (INEC), in partnership with International Foundation for Electoral Partnership, has kicked off a 3-day training workshop on gender and inclusivity for gender desk officers in Lagos. Ese Nwamaka reports.
Can be adjudged to be credible, free, and fair only if equal opportunities are given to all participants. It is against this backdrop that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) recently launched the revised gender policy as part of its commitment towards achieving gender parity and electoral inclusivity for the female folks in the forthcoming general elections.
The Commission pursued the implementation of gender equity principle in the electoral process and in advancing women's representation in democratic governance in Nigeria.
Women are critical stakeholders. Anytime you are talking about majority rule, which democracy represents. So we need to bring them into the mainstream, because all over the world they are being marginalized.
Gender desk officers of the Commission expressed their readiness to participate and also translate the gains of the training into benefits for the female folks in the forthcoming general elections.
The newly revised implementation workshop on the INEC gender policy to have more insight of the legal provisions we have, what we have at stake for the political parties, and not just in the political parties, even internally within the Commission, what provisions do we have for women to be more inclusive in the Commission and also in the electoral process?
At the state level, so the local government level, I would like to encourage all the women to participate in policies.
The workshop, which draws participants from the 36 states of the Federation, is part of the preparations of the Electoral Commission for the 2023 general elections. In Lagos, S.A. Owamaka, NT News.
Still staying with political matters, political parties in some states have started conducting primaries, while others have few days to commence. Electorate of the opinion that party delegates determine these activities that are crucial towards the build-up of the 2023 general election. Amaka O reports.
During political party primaries, it is believed that delegates represent the interests of the people, as they are a lesser number selected when compared to the entire voting population.
At various levels, the party will come up with the guidelines of electing delegates who will eventually vote for or against any of the candidates, so that only one can emerge. Normally you have two categories.
Politics, they say, is a game of numbers. This is evident during party primaries, as most aspirants leave nothing to chance to ensure that they get the highest number of delegates in order to clinch the party's ticket.
They are very key, and you need to handle them with care, utmost care. Because if you miss them or they don't vote for you, they're out.
Saying that delegates are fundamental in the scheme of things is stating the obvious. However, for some electorates, they are concerned about the criteria in deciding who becomes a delegate within a political party and what characteristics should these delegates look out for before voting for aspirants during the party primaries, as they are expected to perform their duties without biases.
The future of your children will be at stake if you take the money and vote according to the money given to you. But if you vote according to your conscience, you will help the nation to elect genuine leaders.
Everybody that have been among the blacklists, should not be allowed to vote. They should be screened out automatically.
The amendment to Section 84, subsection 8 of the Electoral Act 2022 is a clear pointer that further highlights the relevance of delegates, as they can make or mar the chances of an aspirant under a political party platform. It is the expectation of many that efforts made would yield positive results and strengthen the over 2 decades of the nation's democracy. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Nationwide continues with Obey in Benin after this break, but before then, let's remind you to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Stay with us.
Nigeria. Nigerian aviation sector is rapidly growing with the construction of new international airport terminals in several regions of the country. The new Murtala Mohammed International Airport has an estimated passenger increase of 30 million annually and 15 million for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is also expected to open new frontiers for the region with more travel capacity for the annual Hajj, while the new Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, avails more business opportunities connecting the industrial cities in the region to the world. These new terminals beat world-class standards with enabling infrastructure that aid air travel, tourism, and the eventual growth of the country's GDP.
Open up commerce and of course link us to international societies.
People from international community will come here to do business, and then that will bring in more revenue to the state.
Now, distances can be seamlessly covered as Nigeria keeps raising its bar to suit global infrastructure standards.
Sees that the Buhari-led administration has made remarkable progress,
like Lafia Transmission Station nearing completion.
Africa does not need charity, but partnerships that will promote the adequate investment
with the cooperation of all.
Sharing firsthand the experiences of reporters on the field as they bring to you weekly the beauty of Nigeria's diverse culture and the economic potentials therein. The Correspondence, development through the eye of the grassroots, showing every Monday at 1:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA, with a repeat broadcast on NTA News 24 and NTA International. Join us.
Horse racing is a sport, a culture, and a celebration. The Turf Club Federation of Nigeria, TCFN, brings this and more to Sokoto in this year's West African International Derby to celebrate the 15th coronation anniversary of His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar III. The life patron of TCFN, His Royal Highness the Etenupe Alhaji Dr. Yahya Abubakar, will by the grace of God grace the turf of Shehu Kengiwa Racecourse Sokoto on the weekends of Friday the 3rd of June 2022 to the 5th of June 2022 and Friday the 10th of June 2022 to the 12th of June 2022. TCFN will by this second edition of its West African International Derby not only celebrate a remarkable royal father, but one of its own pillars in the person of the Sultan himself, who serves as the Grand Patron of the Federation.
Very warm welcome to NTA Benin Network Center on Nationwide. Senatorial candidates who will represent the People's Democratic Party in the red chambers of the National Assembly have emerged. The parallel elections that was done by two factions of the party brought out two candidates from the three zones in the state. Goodluck Enaini has the details.
The former majority leader of Edo State House of Assembly, Matthew Uduekeme, and Omoroge Gbedehama are winners of the Edo South senatorial primary elections conducted by the two different factions of PDP in the state. While the primary was a keen contest between the incumbents, Senator Matthew Orohide, and his major challenger, Matthew Uduekeme, at Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, it was a landslide for Ogbeide Ihama at the other parallel primary election held in Oedo.
The process was a long and tortuous one, but we thank God that we have won it. I thank all the delegates. I thank all the security officials.
In Edo North, Mr. Pascal Obome emerging as candidate to one of the factions, just as Mrs. Victoria Oduelokun was also elected.
It speaks volume of the expectation of the people, of me.
This is victory for women. I thank you all, the delegates, for your support.
Similarly, a parallel primary was held in Edo Central Senatorial District that saw the election of a serving senator, Clifford Odia, and a former minister, Mike Onolememe.
Stop thanking our people for this show of confidence and love.
It pleased God to make me the winner of this contest.
The exercise, though organized by parallel groups in Benin, Goodluck Inaini, NT News.
Still on election matters, the Nigerian Television Authority is putting necessary machineries in motion to ensure adequate coverage of the 2022 Ekiti gubernatorial election. The latest is an in-house training for reporters and cameramen in NTA Ado-Ekiti. Tayo Osho reports.
With over 30 years' experience as a newsman, having risen to the position of a Deputy Director News, the General Manager of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA Ado-Ekiti Segun Ojelade, is leaving nothing to chance in ensuring that reporters and cameramen are fully equipped towards a successful coverage of Ekiti governorship election come June 18. Participants were reminded of those things to look out for before and during the election, with practical demonstrations about on-the-spot reporting for adequate and timely information dissemination.
NTA is taking coverage of elections very, very seriously because it's part of our responsibilities to our viewers and to the nation to ensure that we have a strong democracy.
Some of the participants described the training as an opportunity to refresh their memories about the do's and don'ts of election coverage.
Even when we are on the field, what to cover, what to look out for, the security, how to interview.
We have been taught how to prepare adequately for the election, how to position our camera and the camera movement to get a better shot.
With what we have received from our veteran broadcaster, I'm sure we'll do well.
Other staff of the NTA from other stations who will be joining the team are expected to undergo similar training for adequate and effective election coverage. In Ado-Ekiti, Tayo Osho, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. It's over to Ruth now in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Obi. Information from Borno State on the killings of 32 by terrorists clarifies that the victims were not farmers. In a statement by the spokesperson to the governor, Malam Isa Gusau, says the youths were not farmers but highly enterprising young men engaged in gathering metals popularly called Kayan Ajakuta, which are sold as raw materials for steel production. The victims were said to have gone to a deserted Mudu village 45 kilometers away from Dikwa in search of the raw materials. The statement also confirmed that 6 persons were injured while 2 escaped the attack unhurt. Noting that Governor Babagana Umar Zulum is very disturbed by the unfortunate killing of fellow citizens. Following the issuance of fake advanced level results to candidates to enable them secure admission into tertiary institutions, the federal government has established an A-level data bank to ensure sanctity in the entire admission process. The data bank would ensure all A-level results were registered under one platform to bring about standardization and integrity of the certificates. Registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, stated this at a 3-day workshop for public relations staff of the board with the theme Media, Publicity and Public Relations in the Modern Age. The board noted that more than 47 proprietors of the Interim Joint Matriculation Board Examination and the Joint Universities Preliminary Examinations Board have so far been arrested for issuing fake A-level results. JAMS Director, Legal Services, Dr. Abdul Wahab Oyedokun, who represented the registrar, listed some of the other measures to include deployment of sophisticated biometric technology to curb multiple registrations in unified tertiary matriculation examination. Sokoto will be our next stop, and Asmao is set to guide us there.
Many thanks, Ruth. Good evening and welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. President of the Nigeria Army Officers' Wives Association, Mrs. Salamatu Farouk Yahya, has assured of maintaining its drive to standardize and strengthen Naowa institutions across all army formations in the country. Mrs. Yahya stated this at the inauguration of Naowa Nursery and Primary Schools Nigerian Army Giginya Barracks, Sokoto. Sheikh Muhammad Dati reports.
The structures, which comprise of one block of 6 classrooms, ICT laboratory, and 2 staff rooms, were constructed to improve the existing structures in the school. Mrs. Farouk Yahya said the completed project will provide conducive learning environment for pupils in the barracks and beyond, create new learning opportunities in areas of information and communication technology, as well as employment opportunities. She emphasized that the project was conceived to sustain legacies and uphold the tenets of unity and service, and to improve the standard of the school that will enable it to compete with schools across the nation. While acknowledging the efforts of the past Naowa leaders for putting strong foundation for Naowa schools, the president noted that Naowa has adopted an energetic approach towards standardizing all institutions through structural development, staff training, adequate resources management, and provision of state-of-the-art equipment for the schools.
All that we are doing is adding value to what our predecessors have already established. So Naowa is already an established institution, and what we do as members and whoever will come as a leader in any form is expected to continue.
The chairperson, Naowa 8th Division, Nigerian Army Sokoto, Glory Uwembasi, appreciated the Naowa president for providing quality leadership, guidance, and uplifting the general status of Naowa. The president donated some palliatives, which include food items, household items, and cash. The Naowa president also inaugurated the newly built Mrs. Salamatu Yahya Naowa Secretariat. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Dati, NTA News.
The People's Democratic Party primaries in Sokoto State have been conducted peacefully. Chairman Electoral Committee for North and South, Dr. Ali Muhammad Innami, commended members in the state for their high sense of maturity and democratic ideals during the exercise for the State Assembly and House of Representatives primaries. Sheikh Muhammad Dati completes the report.
The PDP primaries is currently ongoing simultaneously across the state. In Sokoto North 1 State House of Assembly, Buhari Haliru Yerima was affirmed through consensus, while for Sokoto North 2, Alhaji Hayatu Tepida emerged winner of the election after scoring 16 votes against his opponent Maniru Adamu Aljani, who got 0 votes. Also declared winner for Sokoto North and Sokoto South Federal Constituency was Abubakar Abdullahi Ahmad, who scored 57 votes against Umar Shafiq Ibrahim with 5 votes. Meanwhile, Bashir Usman Goro emerged winner for Godanyo Gada Federal Constituency through consensus. Primaries for Senate are also being conducted in the state.
We believe that PDP is our party, and we all make undertaking that whatever the outcome of the election, we are going to accept it wholeheartedly.
Now the ballot is open. It is the electoral that is going to make the judgment based on what the record they have so far.
The elections were witnessed by INEC officials and security agents. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Dati, NTA News.
And just a reminder that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and all other social media handles displayed on your screen. I will take a short break. When we return, Nationwide will continue in Port Harcourt.
The ever busy ancient city of Onitsha is a commercial hub with millions of commuters seamlessly linking other states daily for business, leisure, and other purposes. To upscale its road network, the construction of a 1.6-kilometer long second Niger bridge, including a 10.3-kilometer highway furnished with other infrastructure, has been in motion by the federal government. This project will ease congestion on the existing 56-year-old Onitsha bridge and boost the economic capacity of the state as it easily connects to other parts of the country. The completion of the world-class second Niger bridge Onitsha will be one of the many proud moments of the state, its people, Nigerians, and foreign investors. Onitsha, which hosts the largest market in Africa, is geared up to boast of an impressive road network. Once again, these moments are made alive by the federal government, and it is deserving of all the applause.
Now, what could make someone set out on a journey and not get to his or her destination? Now, imagine the victim who cannot reach out to these responders, who doesn't even have the phone to reach out. Hello, thank you very much for joining us on platform. I'm Ruth Aguela.
And the girl, especially if the girl is a minor, she's not yet 18 years, if she gets pregnant, realize that church girl is sent out of school and the boy is left in school.
Just park to pick the call.
So how much sensitization is there for us?
I don't agree. A lot of people are just deaf.
The family of Asiebu announces the death of their brother, uncle, father and grandfather, Chief Engineer Sir James Owadi Asiebu Nnoha, who died on the 15th of January 2022. He was aged 101. Funeral arrangements: Friday 27th of May 2022, service of songs at his compound, Umuhi Umuawa Village, Ekoba Kingdom, Uhuhu, Umuahia North, Abia State. Saturday 28th of May, body leaves West Point Mortuary by 7 a.m. for his maternal home at Amajuli's compound in Umwezoma Oriendu Uhuhu. Brief stop at Ekuru Nezuru Palace of His Royal Highness Eze Ihai Chukwumokina for a valedictory session by the Eze Council of Ekoba Kingdom. Body leaves Umuhi Moba for lying in state at Chief Engineer Sir J.U. Asiebu's compound. Requiem Mass at SS Peter and Paul Catholic Church, Umuawa Aleocha Uhuhu, Umuahia North, Abia State by 11 a.m. Interment follows shortly after Holy Mass at Chief Engineer Sir J.U. Asiebu's compound. He is survived by wife, children and grandchildren. May his gentle soul rest in peace. Amen. Chief Mona, Anele Chukwu Anthony Asiebu. Announcer, AGK Asiebu for the family.
Welcome to Port Harcourt Network Center. An alleged notorious criminal terrorizing the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, and its environs in Port Harcourt has been arrested with firearms by the Eastern Ports Police Command. Robinson Duratede has the details.
For some time now, the Eastern Ports Police Command has been on the trail of Friday Egodo, also known as Ogoni Boy, who has been on the wanted list of the police command. Friday Egodo, who allegedly operates a 3-man criminal gang, has lost 2 of his men in the course of criminal operations, but has continued to rob people of their valuables and escape through the waterways at night. 9th of January 2022, Friday allegedly stole an AK-47 from a police officer on special duties and has been using the gun to wreak havoc.
He equally confessed that yes, he's the one who took that gun and that he sold it to somebody called Marshall who lives somewhere in Borokiri. So we took him with a search warrant to go to that place. On getting there, we did not see the Marshall, but on search, luckily, we saw our police AK-47 and we recovered it.
Anyanwu Uche, a private security officer at the NPA, almost lost his arms while trying to stop him from operating on the 6th June 2021. The alleged criminal is 45 years old, married with 2 children, and will be charged to court at the completion of investigation. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Taratede, NTA News.
Agriculture provides a veritable platform for employment, income generation and food security. Hence the need to support the younger population to engage in this venture to improve on the economy. This is a submission of some agri stakeholders who are encouraging youth to cash into the plantain season to improve their livelihood. Evelyn Bardo Epo has the details of this report.
Agriculture, aside from the role it plays as a basic need of man in the provision of food, has been considered by experts as a viable means of entrepreneurship for livelihood. Regrettably, most youths do not see a future in agriculture, as about 70% of farming population is being dominated by the old or middle age. But what are some of the factors hampering this active population's participation in agriculture?
The youth may be having that, they may having the passion for it, but they don't have access to land. Of course, the capital, there should be free interest loan to both the new and the existing farmers.
Farming is business. Gone are the days people were farming as hobby or anything that it doesn't worth. But right now we are doing farming as a business in Akwa Ibom State.
Stakeholders, however, laud some of the efforts embarked upon by the state and federal governments to create interest among the youths to go into farming.
Right now, because of government intervention, a lot of youths are going to agriculture because we train them. And apart from that, you know what usually scared youth from practicing agriculture was because they were afraid of drudgery in farming. But presently, the state government is putting things in place to make sure that agriculture is mechanized.
The greatest investment in life is agriculture, and a wise and intelligent leadership looks at where the base is, and that is the agricultural sector.
It is a hope of agri stakeholders that the resuscitation of agri training centers will encourage youth participation in agriculture. In Uyo, Evelyn Badueku, NTA News.
And that's all from here. Nationwide continues with Ruth.
Thank you, Gabriel. Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibajo, an APC presidential aspirant, says it is only unity of Nigerians that can salvage the country from the current challenges and make it more respectful in the eyes of the world. The Vice President was speaking when he paid a visit to the Sultan of Sokoto before engaging the APC delegates ahead of the presidential primaries. Let's hear the details from Shehu Mohammed Detti.
The Vice President said Nigeria is a diverse country with diverse ethnic and religious differences that can only be united if the unity is upheld. He said it is important to be one and deny anything that can adversely divide the unity and understanding among Nigerians. The Vice President described the Sultan as trustful, pragmatic, and sensitive in issues of national interest.
Matters of unifying our country. That is, my view, one of the most important issues. That is to keep this country, Nigeria, united. I think it's absolutely important that we recognize, and I think that our government has recognized that our country is only great if it is united. This country is great and respected all over the world.
Sultan of Sokoto Muhammad Saad Abubakar and President General Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, while welcoming the Vice President, wished him well in the pursuit of his presidential ambition. The Sultan expressed dismay on the way and manner social media is exaggerating issues of national interest with fake news.
But through you, not as an aspirant, but as the Vice President, we still have a lot to do. We still have one more year to do a lot of things to see that you leave a legacy of peace and stability in this country. And we will support you 100%. We will support President Buhari 100%. And like you rightly said, all the body listens to us. We have been talking, and inshallah, this country will know peace.
The Vice President later met with delegates of APC at Kasarawa International Conference Center, Sokoto, behind closed doors.
Our party is very fortunate that we have so many well-qualified persons who are running for the position of president. And I think that everyone who is running is very well qualified for the job.
Youth groups besieged the venue to show solidarity. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo again has appealed for the support of Southeast delegates of the All Progressives Congress towards the actualization of his emergence as the presidential candidate of the party. He made the appeal in Owerri, Imo State, where the Senate President Ahmad Lawan and Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi also visited to solicit support of delegates towards their presidential ambition. Beatrice Anyam reports.
This is Vice President's second visit to Imo State in less than 1 week. The visit is to seek the support of APC delegates from Abia and Imo States ahead of the party primaries. The Vice President, who spoke to journalists after a closed-door meeting with the delegates, says the meeting offered him opportunity to convince them of his capacity and competence to take Nigeria to the desired destination.
We've been able to, reach several different conclusions about what to do going forward, and also we've talked about party issues as well. So it's a very robust engagement, and the conversations have been fantastic.
Two other presidential aspirants, the Senate President Ahmed Lawan and the Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi, also visited Owerri for consultations with party delegates from the Southeast. They promised to consolidate on the achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari, improve on the security architecture, and create wealth if elected president come 2023.
I want to assure you that the vote for me by you is a vote for progress in Nigeria, for stability in Nigeria, for prosperity in our country.
Give me your votes. Convince your colleagues in other regions. I will be the answer. I will improve upon my father, the president, has done.
We are completely loyal to the leadership of our great party, APC, under the command of President Muhammadu Buhari.
The sensitization visit attracted stakeholders of the APC from the Southeast and supporters of the presidential aspirants in Owerri. Beatrice Anyam, NTN News.
As consultations for the 2023 presidential tussle heightens, different groups have continued to throw their weight behind the aspiration of Dr. Ibrahim Bello Dauda El-Dabi as the man with uncommon vision for Nigeria. Their support for the aspirant is coming at a time the All Progressives Congress sets machineries in motion to hold its 2022 presidential primary. Abubakar Kwanga reports.
Consultation is the latest political strategy deployed to woo the hearts of party men and women, but endorsement is the assurance politicians need to go in for party primaries. Now, these groups, the All Farmers Progressive Association, Yoruba General Assembly, Ibira Reach Out Foundation, and Coalition of Student Bodies, are giving full dose of endorsement to Dr. Ibrahim Bello El-Dabi.
All farmers in the country to pull our weight behind Dr. Ibrahim Bello Dauda, the only man that stands tall with Nigerian farmers.
Yoruba General Assembly today is conscientiously endorsing Dr. Ibrahim Bello Dauda as the next president of Nigeria come 2023.
El-Dabi campaign motto tagged Nigeria First, which is anchored on the principle of justice, fairness, equity, honesty, detribalizing and transformational leadership, endears us to him.
The Nigerian students have endorsed and pledging our support and readiness to converse, mobilize our students all over the country to ensure that Dr. Ibrahim Bello Dauda El-Dabi becomes the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria comes 2022.
The groups say the aspirant has demonstrated strong will in building a united, viral and industrious Nigeria. In Abuja, Abubakar Kwanga, NTA News.
The race to choose the presidential flag bearer of the African Democratic Party has begun, with a debate among the party's aspirants to help delegates decide who will become the front-runner of the party in the 2023 elections. Linda Okori reports.
I stay here and I ask
be voted for.
This is not a school debate, but a test of competence among aspirants vying for the presidential seat on the platform of the African Democratic Congress.
The presidency is a job just like every other job. And like any job, it has a job description.
A platform is created for Kingsley Mohalo and other contenders to reveal their prospect.
If I get the party ticket, as I hope, we are going to wake up the Nigerian masses and let them see their own power to change their destiny. And a very clear plan to secure their lives, a plan to improve education, a plan to improve the economy.
There is one thing that I will do. The first thing is to take care of education. The second thing is to take care of education. And the third thing is to take care of education. Because there is no society in human history that has developed beyond their level of education.
If I become the Nigerian president, Nigeria will be a reformed nation.
With a show of real and display of prospect by the aspirants, the next stage is for the delegates to decide who becomes the party's flag bearer in a matter of days.
ADC is here to make sure that everybody's value is well represented. So that's what we want Nigerians to see.
We must not let the next generation to come and go like this. Therefore, this is our time, Nigerians.
For the national chairman of the party, Ralph Wosu, it is the beginning of a new dawn, and the party is ready to set a pace and make good governance its sole aim. In Abuja, Linda Okori Igwe, NTA News.
Well, as the 2023 general elections approaches, is Nigeria ready to elect a female president? Yara John is set to tell us more.
Women participation in politics remains 6.7% in elective and appointive positions, which is far below global average of 22.5%. Hence, more women are strategically positioning for the 2023 general elections. Barrister Uju Kennedy Ohanenye is the only female presidential aspirant on the platform of the APC, and she says passion for humanity is her drive.
We've been dealing with the men, and we need a change. It's definitely obvious we need a change. So I believe that a woman will make a difference.
Leaders of the Igbo and Muslim communities and other groups in Abuja say tapping the capacity and talents of women is essential to building and sustaining strong and vibrant democracy.
For decades now, men have been the one ruling. Why not let's just try the women too? Since men have been doing it and we've not got a result that we desire, let's try the women.
Women are the bedrock of this nation, and they really understand the pains.
And a female president coming on board, I think there should be changes.
Nigeria is more than ready for a female president.
The 2023 general election presents the highest number of presidential aspirants in the history of Nigeria, with the expectation that it would address underrepresentation of women, which constitute a serious democratic deficit. In Abuja, Ian Ray John, NTA News.
The leadership of the People's Democratic Party at all levels have been advised not to tamper with delegates' list already submitted to the National Working Committee of the party to encourage fairness and peaceful coexistence among members of the party. The spokesperson of the three-man delegates of PDP in Ebonyi State, Ogbonnaya Ene Odi, gave the advice while briefing newsmen in Abakaliki on alleged rumor that there is a plan to change the party's delegates' list from the state. Kanayo Okoro will tell us more.
Ogbonnaya Ene Odi, who spoke on behalf of the three-man delegates of the People's Democratic Party from the 13 council areas of the state, said the appeal became necessary following an earlier court order obtained to authenticate the list. Hence, the call on the National Working Committee of the PDP to obey the court order by allowing the list.
People gathered here are delegates from all the states. I am begging the national leadership of the People's Democratic Party please not to tamper with our delegate list. They should allow it to fly.
Let them allow people to choose those that they want to lead them. That by allowing our result and the list that has been approved by the National Working Committee to use as a working document in electing those that will lead us.
They called on the relevant stakeholders of the PDP to intervene urgently and allow justice to prevail. In Abakaliki, Kana Yokoro, NTA News.
The Niger State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency is winning the war against illicit drugs with the destruction of banned substances weighing 20 tons, estimated worth of more than 1 billion naira. The command used the occasion to once again reiterate its commitment to rid the country of hard drugs and other dangerous substances.
Illicit drugs and other banned substances destroyed by the NDLEA Niger State Command include 20,000 kilograms of cannabis, 1.3 kilograms of psychotropic substances, and less than 1 kilogram of cocaine. The illicit drugs, which reportedly weigh 21 tons, were exhibits seized from various offenders and were destroyed in public place in accordance with the orders of the Federal High Court sitting in Minna. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, NDLEA Brigadier General Buba Marwa retired, was represented at the event.
We shall ensure that offenders are caught and prosecuted, and not only jail if convicted, but all have their assets seized and forfeited to the federal government.
This one is money. Those that use their money to purchase this, it now is a drain now. It's wasted. They would have sink the money into some good ventures. So we're going to be arresting them. Wherever they are, we'll get them.
Anyone, any facility or premises that is being used, sales of illicit drugs, government will take over such facilities and such individuals will be prosecuted.
The last destruction of this magnitude of illicit drugs was carried out in Niger State 14 years ago in Minna. Fatima Aliu, NTA News.
From Indonesia, we hear that member states of the African Union have agreed to a declaration expressing commitment to the implementation of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction from 2015 to 2030 as part of the region's submission to the 7th Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction. Olenge Faives reports.
When it comes to issues of technical assistance, it has to be based on our country needs assessments.
On the DRR issues, and that way I believe if we begin from the community level upwards, we'll be able to win the war.
Arguments and recommendations from delegates at the GP 2022 Africa Regional Meeting culminated in the adoption of a declaration indicating commitments from the region to provide adequate and predictable resources for disaster risk reduction, including through domestic budgeting and resource mobilization.
The financing must take care of all the risk reduction requirements of our communities in our various countries. We know that if it is a question of financing, then it must have some legal framework.
While the United Nations is willing to support the region, member states are encouraged to look inwards for solutions to disaster exposure and vulnerabilities.
Also, even in terms of resources or resource mobilization, we also look at domestic resource mobilization, and we can be able also to fund some of the activities from within the continent.
The African Declaration to the 7th Global Platform is a product of the Nairobi Declaration of November 2021 on accelerating the path to achieving the targets of the Sendai Framework.
Next, the sports update.
home-based Super Eagles as well as backroom staff departed Abuja Tuesday evening for the United States of America, USA, ahead of their international friendly games with Mexico on May 28 in Dallas and Ecuador on June 2 in New Jersey. The home-based players will link up with the other invited 22 foreign-based players to be led by the team captain Ahmed Musa. Excitement continues to rent the air at the ongoing National Handball Premier League in Abuja as more fixtures were decided Wednesday in the women's event. The Defenders Babes lost 22 to 31 goals to Safety Babes. Rema Queens beat Imo Grasshoppers 17 to 16, while Seaside Babes defeated Kada Queens 10 goals to 0 in a walkover. Over 120 lady golfers participated in the Maiden Ladies Open at the TYB International Golf and Country Club Abuja, where Amina Wilfred dominated the course to come out best overall winner with a gross score of 226 over 3 days. Rita Iboji finished first runner-up, while Rachel Danjuma impressed with her golfing skills once more to come out second runner-up. In some results from the male category, Moses Hideko scored 71 to finish best gross, while Prince David finished best net.
We'll keep the flag flying. More people will come next time for TYB Ladies Open.
A 3-day Africa Union Sports Council Region 2 meeting ended in Abuja Wednesday with a call on participants to unite in the drive for further development of the industry within the region and the continent.
Hence, we in West Africa should rise up and support our original brothers to ensure that these two countries, Ghana and Senegal, make us proud.
We have also seen the need to work together in unity to see that we achieve the goals.
Major fallouts of the meeting include Ghana to host the 13th Africa Games in 2023 and Senegal to host the Youth Olympics in 2026. That's Sports Update. I am Kenan Ima Abodike, NTA News.
We're done with Nationwide. Thank you very much for your time. But please, we urge you not to relent in the fight against rape and rapists. I'm Ruth Aguela. Enjoy your evening.
There's a start and promises to share out. Winds up that right hand. Archbishop of basketball, goal! He hung on that net like a stalk up a tree.
NTA Sports 24 brings you all sports, all time and all day. Tune in to watch NTA Sports 24 on Star Times Channel 270, Star Sat on Channel 434 and Free TV on Channel 731. NTA Sports 24, where sports thrive.
Hello and welcome. It's time for another interesting package of
Everything Music.
Angelina, you dey cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver.
This is Talking Movies.
In times of old, the world was full of wonder.
No! Stop it! Welcoming you to your weekend for today.
Arise, O compatriots. It's time to use our voice.
Beyond Six Packs.
Bills.
Me and my paddies.
London for what?
London for medicine.
Medicine for what?
Medicine for coffee.
Are you sickness?
To our illness. Welcome to Gist Zone.
All right, my name is the Eselucien Wego One. Ona nyokoko nyonyo.
This is the network service of the NTA.
It is supposed to be another Saturday morning in our country, Nigeria, but it turns out to be one Saturday to remember in the history of Nigeria's democracy and electioneering. On that day, millions of youths across the country made a huge statement of their steadfast support for the candidacy of Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State in the 2023 presidential election. It was a simultaneous gathering of massive crowds of youths in over 23 states across the 6 geopolitical zones of the Federation in a show of force tagged Nationwide Capacity Rally for Yahaya Bello. Participants chanted solidarity songs while carrying various placards in support of Bello from as early as 9 a.m. in all the locations. The youth see this election season as payback time for one of them, who has carried them along in key areas of his administration, rescued them from the streets, and actualized their own ending tomorrow in the form of a better today.
YBN Plateau State Chapter.
The youths, who said they had mobilized over 16 million active holders of permanent voters' cards to actualize a Yahaya Bello presidency come 2023, said the nationwide capacity rally was to demonstrate that they meant business and will go all out for their own in the forthcoming elections.
We have all the support of all the parties. Say what? For those who are going around sharing money, they are doing that at their own.
What's more, the national coordinator of the groups under the umbrella of Rescue Nigeria Mission, Abdullahi Shuaibu Damat, who was present at the Federal Capital Territory rally, said the youths were already thinking beyond the primary elections of the major parties in their quest for Yahaya Bello as President of Nigeria after President Muhammadu Buhari.
We have all the support of all the parties. Say what? For those who are going around sharing money, they are doing that at their own risk. All Nigerian youth have shown clearly this event is happening across the entire system of the Federation, so you stand a better chance to win the primaries, at whatever cost.
So it is not for nothing that the name and person of Governor Yahaya Adoza Bello has become synonymous with youth and women inclusion. It is on record that this nationwide simultaneous capacity rally is the first of its kind in Nigeria, organized selflessly by a youth population determined to seize their destinies in their own hands. Surely it is the hearing and saying of all the good works that seems to be convincing a rising tide of youth across the country to put not just their numbers behind the man, but also the confidence that he will deliver the goods as president given the chance.